Hi and welcome to this reading. Today's reading is another in the series of the Rise of the Divine Feminine readings that I'm doing as part of our collective awakening where we are tapping into our divine feminine energy. Today's reading, I'm picking up the energy of Lilith. I've had a lot of messages, signs, synchronicities coming through this morning, and so I want to tap into this Lilith energy today. Now, there is a full playlist of these readings. I am doing 22 in total. I have 6 to go. As a collective, as I said, we are tapping into this divine feminine energy as we almost reach out to touch the North Node change, which happens in January of 2025. So in a couple of months' time, the North Node is our point of destiny. And collectively, that node is changing over from Aries into Pisces. Pisces is our spirituality. Pisces is our beliefs. Pisces is the 12th house. It's ruled by Neptune and Jupiter. So an expansion of our beliefs. Neptune is going down to the depths. Now, I've also got a whole playlist of Lilith readings. Lilith is your original wound. Lilith as an individual was known as Adam's first wife in Jewish religious text. And she failed to conform, or she refused. She was a rebel. She refused to conform to what was being asked of her by God. So she was kicked out of the Garden of Eden. She refused to be subservient, is what I just heard. So if this reading resonates with you, it might be worth your while to actually work out where your Lilith is in your chart, because that Lilith playlist that I did actually taps into each particular placement of Lilith in each of the signs and also in each of the houses. So it may give you more information as to potentially something that you are experiencing at the moment, if this Lilith energy is what you're working through. Now, if you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are returning, please like, share, and subscribe. Huge big black and white butterfly has just flown through my garden. Gardens are transformation. And we've just had a lot of rain here, days and days and days of rain are clearing out, but butterflies are transformation. You may have felt like you were in a cocoon phase and you're wanting to break out and fly free. So as I said, if you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. All my readings are timeless. So whenever you find this reading, you're meant to find it as part of some form of guidance for the spiritual journey that you are on. Now, collectively, we're all different stages in our journey, and we are tapping into all different divine feminine energy. So as I said, there's already a plethora of readings in this divine feminine playlist that I've made, all tapping into different divine feminine energies. And you might tap into each of those energies at different times on your journey. You might stay with one energy for an extended period of time and then flick into the next. These particular readings and these particular divine feminine energies are meant to give you guidance and encouragement as part of that journey you're on, because the journey of tapping into your divine feminine energy is about tapping into your intuition. It's a solo journey. It's an inward journey. And it's something that in a lot of aspects you do on your own as part of your own internal guidance. Now, divine feminine energy is something that we all hold, no matter what your gender is. So it doesn't matter what your gender is if you come to this reading, if this reading has popped up in your feed, because we all have divine feminine and divine masculine energy within. Collectively, we are just tapping into this divine feminine component of the energy. Divine masculine energy is Emperor energy. It's Aries, it's Mars, it's very tangible, 3D, what you can see in front of you energy. Empress energy is divine feminine energy. It's Venus, it's Taurus, it's nurturing, it's internal. And there's got to be a balance between the two in order for you as a person to grow and evolve. Otherwise, it's like having one flat tire on a bike. So if you're new to my channel, all of the decks that I use on my channel are my own designs, part of my own spiritual journey. Over the last 5 years, I've created a range of tarot and oracle decks. So all the illustrations are my own. If you are called to any of those, the links to them can be found in the description box. Now, I've done a pre-shuffle. And whilst I was doing a pre-shuffle, I got a visitor in my garden, and it was a bird that I'd never seen before. So I actually had to look it up. It was probably about this big, maybe about that long, this big long tail. Dark brown, blackish head, and brown and white stripes down its feathers and tail, down its wings and tails. Now, when I looked it up, it's called a cuckoo pheasant, within the same family of birds as the cuckoo, but not a cuckoo. A cuckoo, C-O-U-C-A-L, and it's native to Australia, Timor, and Guinea. I'm going to give you some of the meanings behind, because it's potentially tying into this reading, which is why it turned up in my garden. And there are many meanings. It's often seen as spiritually misjudgment, because people first think it's a crow, and then they think it's a pheasant. And when Europeans first came to Australia, they were trying to catch it and eat it, thinking that it was a pheasant, but it's got apparently a bitter taste to the meat. So it was deemed evil. And actually Leviticus named it in a list of birds with reference to evil tasting meat from the Bible. Lilith is that second religious context, because when that list came from the Old Testament, now the Old Testament is where the Jewish religion comes from. So there's a tie in there. In Aboriginal culture, it prevented floods in the dreaming. If you dream of a cuckoo, it's meant to be good luck. But it's also known as a bird of mistaken identity, and so is referenced as the crow pheasant, because people don't know if it's a crow or a pheasant. As I said, that misjudgment. In Native American culture, now it's not native in America, but that particular species of bird is a symbol of laziness, because they lay their eggs in the nests of others. A bit parasite energy is what I'm picking up on. Parenthood, passage, and burdens was the other thing, but this parasite energy, and that's what he was doing. He'd kind of gone through my garden, and then he was walking along the fence, and of course my dog got a glimpse of him, and very, very protective, started barking. And what I'm actually picking up, because the cards that came out, and it was so funny, I've got double decks. So I've got my old tarot deck, and this is the new one, and the same in this one. I've got two of them here, and I use the old ones because they've got years worth of energy and shuffling in them, and all the readings are connected. But sometimes the cards get mixed up between the decks, because obviously the decks are the same, just one's got more wear and tear. So this Nine of Swords from the new deck was actually doubled up, and there were two Nine of Swords in the old deck. And I thought that's interesting. And then when I did the shuffle, the Nine of Swords popped out. Now the Nine of Swords is negativity, unhappiness, stress, burdens, being overwhelmed, at breaking point, sometimes fear, sometimes anxiety. And you can see it in that drawing. And then when I was shuffling my Divine Portal deck, the Nine of Swords popped out again. So it's popped out twice, and then I saw it as a reference to the fact that there were two in the one deck when I was shuffling my original Lovebirds deck. So one Nine of Swords was hidden in the other deck. The other card that I got was Secret Admirer. Now, I'm not reading the Admirer bit. I'm reading the Secret. And I'm pulling in on that energy of misjudgment and parasite. And I just heard somebody siphoning your energy. Using your Lilith wound to siphon your energy, because the song that I got was Stand and Deliver by Bishop Briggs. Now, the only line I got from that song was, and it was playing in my head over and over and over from the time that I woke up this morning, shut your mouth, baby, stand and deliver. This divine feminine energy that you are in, or that you are tapping into, or that you are about to tap into, is being triggered by two-faced, is it a crow or is it a pheasant? By a two-faced energy, two-faced parasitic energy around you that is demanding of you to sit down and shut up, is what I just heard. And you're meant to tap into this Lilith energy and refuse to be subservient. And the story is that God kicked her out of the Garden of Eden because she failed to comply. But it's all happening in secret, which is why maybe we've got 3. Yeah, maybe there's 3 of you. Maybe you're not the only person that this is happening to. And Lilith in your chart is it's your first wound, but it's your fear of rejection. And so when that wound is triggered through your life, you become defiant and in your ego. If you think of Lilith as a fiery energy, you're pushing back. And it's causing conflict. The other card that was trying to come out was the 2 of Cups, which is a soulmate card. This person in your life, you have a soul contract with. They are meant to trigger this Lilith wound in you by suppressing you and holding you back. And it might be a parental energy, because one of the things I read about that pheasant was that they take their young with them. Meaning in the wild, they've been seen to literally pick their baby birds up by the shoulders and fly off into the sky with them. And you would suggest that maybe that would happen is if they're laying their eggs in somebody else's nest. It's a bit like the Goldilocks story. The bears came home. But somebody's siphoning. Are you the... That's what it is. You're dealing with a pheasant energy that is in a parental dictator kind of role, that evil tasting meat. They've built their nest on the back of somebody else's hard work, cultivating and nurturing it in you, but they're also being parasitic to you. But it's all a secret. Like if you walk past that nest, you wouldn't know that bird didn't build it. You just see a bird in a nest with its babies, flying away with its babies. God booting Lilith out of the Garden of Eden. Sorry, I'm just working through my thoughts here. It's got that energy of moving from place to place to place to place to place so that you don't get caught. So that their method of operation remains a secret. But really they're Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Are you a crow or are you a pheasant? Parenthood, passage and burdens. Lay their eggs in the nests of other birds. And a pheasant in your dreams, or a cuckoo pheasant in your dreams, is a sign of good luck. Maybe it's because you finally get your wings and you fly. You're allowed. You're not allowed. You take charge, like Lilith, and you rebel. How interesting. Okay, let's get you, this is my divine messages. Let's get you an overall guidance card from your guides. Wish fulfillment. Nines at the end. You had 3 nines. Three nines is 27, which is a 9. After heavy burdens, that was another card that was trying to come out, was the 10 of Wands. Heavy, heavy, heavy burdens. But the end. Okay, let's get you some cards. Let's have a look. What's happening at the moment in the 3D? What are you experiencing? This Lilith, Kukul Pheasant energy, the world. You're at the end of whatever cycle this is. The world is Saturn. The world is the last card in the tarot. Saturn is your karmic teacher. Maybe there were lessons that you were meant to learn while you were stuck in this nest with this energy. And they may not feel important to you at this particular time. They may just feel like a heavy burden. But when you look back on them, or perhaps you're doing that now, looking back on them, because Saturn currently is in Pisces. And I think it's still retrograde in Pisces. When a planet is in retrograde, it's a looking back. Pisces is spirituality, a looking back on the spiritual lessons, the world, Saturn, your karmic teacher, looking back on the spiritual lessons that you have learnt whilst you've been in this 9 of Swords, heavy burden energy. The Emperor, with whatever Emperor character this is. Now, Emperor is divine masculine. And at the moment, the collective as a whole is in very, very heavy, out of balance divine masculine energy. That's Aries and Mars. And it's a bird. Think of that bird carrying by the shoulders its young. Why does he need to carry it? Because there's some sort of energy that this person is siphoning off you, and it's a secret. But the world is the end. It's coming out. And perhaps, like I said before, 3 9 of Swords, perhaps it's a realization maybe that you're not the only one. You think of all the class actions and, I mean, God, I think of the American music industry at the moment. And the people that voiced things that were happening and weren't believed. And now it's all coming out. And what happens on a global scale trickles down to every layer, every different layer. Secrets are coming out. Secrets are being revealed. We're also in the final stages, the last 6 weeks of the Pluto and Capricorn transit. Now, Capricorn is top-down structures, governments, religions, workplaces, industries. Pluto and Capricorn is a 20-year transit where collectively we build wealth. But if you're building wealth parasitically on the back of somebody else, if you've sacrificed somebody else, or if they've sacrificed you in order to build this wealth, and as I said, we're in the last 6 weeks of it, before it goes into Pluto in Aquarius, which is a 20-year transit, if they've sacrificed you, your mental health, physically, whatever it is, parasitically, to build that wealth, it's all coming crashing down. And there will be almost one last pushback from them because they don't want this information to come out. They're afraid of the judgment. They're afraid of being found out that their meat is evil. Prevented floods in the dreaming. Now that's an Aboriginal meaning. Prevented floods. Think of Noah's Ark and the floods. Or a tsunami. When this comes out, there will be more people that will be coming forward. A flood of water. It's the floodgates. The floodgates will open. Now, interestingly, in that song, Send and Deliver, I'm going to have a look. Shut your mouth and run me like a river. How do you fall in love? Harder than a bullet could hit you. How do we fall apart? Faster than a hairpin trigger. Don't you say, don't you say it. Don't say, don't you say it. One breath out. One breath, it'll just break it. So shut your mouth and run me like a river. Shut your mouth, baby, stand and deliver. Holy hands, will they make me a sinner? Like a river, like a river. And I would say that's why it's important if you're going through this spiritual awakening, this spiritual journey, tapping into your divine feminine energy, look for the synchronicities. And actually, synchronicity was on the bottom of that deck. Look for the synchronicities that come between things that you may think don't actually connect. Four of Wands on the bottom. Things that you think don't actually connect. Who would have thought that that the Aboriginal meaning of a pheasant prevented floods in the dreaming, tied in with the song that I was also picking up on, Shut Your Mouth. This person, by trying to keep you silent, or these people by trying to keep you silent, they're trying to hold back the floodgates. That's what this is. And maybe, as I said, the last 6 weeks, Capricorn goes into Aquarius, I think the end of November in 2024, depending on when you're coming to this reading. I think we're the 12th of October today, or the 11th, the 12th maybe. They're being most dominant at this particular time in trying to suppress you, trying to make you subservient, because once somebody opens their mouth, the floodgates open. And they're trying to hold them back, which is that 10 of Wands that I saw. Somebody trying to hold that was them. They're trying to hold the floodgates back. And if you think of the imagery that's around at the moment on all the news channels, all of that water coming in, those big tidal surges with those big hurricanes and tornadoes and in America. And from November, the end of November, as I said, Pluto goes into Aquarius. It's a 20-year transit. Now, in history, that transit, and Leviticus is Pluto and Aquarius transit, and I did mention him before. A Pluto and Aquarius transit, Aquarius is the rebel of the zodiac. Don't fence me in. You can't hold back the river. The floodgates are opening. In history, every 250 years, it is a time of major revolution. Now, it can be a revolution of the people against a government. It can be a revolution within religions, huge, big, major changes in religions. It can be a revolution. If I think of examples, the last time it happened, it was the American Revolution. The end of slavery was actually in the dying stages of the Pluto and Capricorn transit, which I think ended in 1777, was the end of slavery in some states in America, and freedom. Being set free by what others perceive to be the Garden of Eden, which, you know, if it doesn't serve your spiritual purpose, is not where you want to be. Look at Lilith. It was also the French Revolution. The French people freeing themselves from the constraints of the French monarchy. And that in itself was a new beginning for them, because the whole structure of the French government was changed. If you go back 250 years prior, it was Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn. Now they changed the whole structure of religion within England. Go back further again. It was William Wallace and Braveheart. Somebody's taken something from you, and as part of this transit, in the dying stages of this Pluto and Capricorn transit, they're trying to keep things hidden and the way that they've always been, because when this change comes in, when something is revealed as to how parasitic and two-faced they are, the floodgates are going to open. And they won't be the emperor anymore. The emperor is going to be stripped of his clothes. What else? And you're going to get the wish fulfillment. Currently, they've got the wish fulfillment. They get what they want. They build their nest. They build their... Yeah, look at that. They build their nest. The Five of Pentacles. Pentacles are 3D. Pentacles are wealth. They've built their nest on somebody else's wealth. They've left somebody in the Five of Pentacles. That's potentially you. Left you in the Five of Pentacles while they've built their wealth parasitically off your burdens, off you financially, off your anguish, off your burdens. You're at breaking point, feeling like that card is feeling like you've been left out in the cold. The Tower, it's all about to change. The Tower is about to come crashing down. And the Seven of Cups, which is often the card of illusion. I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere in this read we get the Magician, because the Magician is an illusionist. Look, what's he doing, that little bird? He's building his nest in a teacup, but somebody else stacked those teacups. Somebody else has done the work. The illusion is about to come crashing down. Why? Because it's time. The Seven of Pentacles. So 7-7. Now yesterday, something popped up in my feed on YouTube, and there is and actually this morning, as I was starting this reading, I look out where my tarot table is. I look out into my backyard, which is why I saw that bird in the garden this morning. But I look out over my pool, and I've got a glass pool fence, and the sunlight was glistening on the top of the pool fence. Almost like it, when I saw it, I thought that's light codes. I watched a reading last night because there's these massive M-class flares at the moment, coronal mass ejections that are coming from the sun. And it's causing these big, that's why we're seeing in different areas, that's why you're seeing the Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights or the Southern Lights. Now, this guy popped up in my feed, and he was talking about it, a scientist guy, he was talking about it. But there was a flare that happened 2 days ago, and then it's not until a couple of days later that you see the Northern Lights. But it's so big. But it registered 7.77. Highly spiritual number, 777. 77. Something very spiritual happening at the moment to bring this energy back into balance, to remove these emperor-like energies out of the collective by exposing what's going on, by opening the floodgates. The Seven of Pentacles is the card of divine timing. The seeds, the divine already planted the seeds a long time ago for this Emperor's tower to crumble. And if you're thinking, well, why did I have to go through all of this heartbreak, this anguish, this suppression? Because back in the beginning, when this emperor became the emperor, if somebody had have said, I think this guy, I've got a sneaking suspicion that this guy, now, not gender specific, I've got a sneaking suspicion that this guy is a parasite, is a wolf in sheep's clothing, is siphoning off the energy of other people in order for his own financial gain, in order to build his own wealth. People would have thought you were delusional. People would have thought that you were just being a negative Nancy. Unfortunately, in life, people have to experience things or witness them, see them play out in order to learn the lesson. And in this particular, as I said, that Two of Cups wanted to come out. The soul connection that you have, the divine connection that you have with the man upstairs, with this particular Emperor energy in your life, was that they were meant to take advantage. You were meant to go through the burdens and the heavy pain. See, that sun's just, as I was saying that, you were meant to go through, you were meant to lose some light. You were meant to be in the dark because it's a secret what's been going on. And what it does for the divine over time, hidden. Two of Swords is the moon in Libra. What it does for the divine, it plants the seeds. It provides all the evidence. It's a bit like, and actually popped up in my feed this morning, it's a bit like all of the guys in, or the people in the Israeli military over the past 12 months that have been posting videos to TikTok about who they killed and how they killed them and what they blew up, that are all now pieces of evidence that constitute war crimes. It's almost like they dug their own grave, but they did it in secret. And unfortunately, in that example, this is the Palestinian people who were meant to be part of this soul contract in order to open the floodgates on this emperor. Remove the illusion, bring the tower down. As I said, that's happening on the higher levels of society, but that energy, these emperor characters are all the way down. The pecking order is, I want to say, on the bottom, the Ten of Cups, which is Mars in Pisces. It's a spiritual lesson that we're meant to learn. Mars is the tower. Pisces is spirituality. It's a spiritual lesson that we're meant to learn. And your role within it, mistaken identity. Your role within it potentially has been portrayed by this person as you're a troublemaker. If the lines from that song, shut your mouth, stand and deliver, suggest that you've tried to speak out and you've had somebody put their foot on your head. If you think of the Palestinian people, and depending on which media you watch, in one instance, they're portrayed as one thing, but in the other instance, they're portrayed as revolutionists. Okay, let's look at where you're going. I want to look at this wish fulfillment because this secret is coming out. I'll wait till it comes out properly. Right. King of Wands. The secret is coming out. Sometimes the King of Wands is all ego, all bravado, all... The King of Wands is the Sun in Aries. Aries is warrior energy. And the sun brings enlightenment. So if we look at this as this emperor person, it's the enlightenment that you get about the actual real motives, the parasitic motives of this person. But if we look at it from you, and we've got a little salamander there. Now, salamander's popped up again in my feed this morning. The King of Wands ignites passion. You, think of Lilith. You're basically saying, no, I'm not standing for being subservient anymore. I'm not going to shut my mouth anymore. Salamander, almost like the divine whispering in your ear to say, it's time. We've got the world card here. The lessons that you've learned with this person are now finished. You've played your part in helping the divine to build up a case against this person. And if you help the divine balance energy, it gives back. Page of Pentacles. It gives back in the way of, well, a new beginning. Pages are new beginnings, but it gives back in terms of the lessons, Saturn, the lessons that you learn about yourself and about your power. And Lilith is almost a fear of rejection that comes from that initial childhood wound. Maybe what this person has used as a ploy to keep you stuck, tapped into your Lilith wound. But if you tap into your Lilith wound and work out what it is that holds you back, then this person doesn't have power anymore. It's almost like you get more than just freedom. You get insight. Two of Cups. You get insight into this person. You get insight into the soul contract that you had with this person. But the Two of Cups is the soulmate card, and it is a balancing of your divine feminine and divine masculine sides. The Two of Cups is a Venus in Cancer. The Seven of Wands, which is Mars in Leo. Wow, and Judgment. That's resurrection energy, wish fulfillment. Judgment is Pluto. As I said, Pluto in Capricorn, but we're about to go into Pluto in Aquarius. King of Wands, Sun in Aries, Jupiter in Capricorn, Venus in Cancer, Mars in Leo, and Pluto. And it's the end of this journey because you've got to get judgment before you go to the world. This person is under judgment now because this secret is coming out. Nine of Wands, and they're going to be in the Nine of Wands. Saturn and Sagittarius. Saturn, again, your karmic teacher or their karmic teacher. Okay, let's have a look. King of Swords on the bottom, that's the truth. Some sort of truth coming out. Eight of Cups, now we did say that before, that is Saturn in Pisces. The Eight of Cups, a current placement at the moment. A lesson that you learn about this soul contract that you had with this person. Maybe you are in anger. If I think of Lilith, sometimes quite fiery energy. And you can stay in a fiery energy like that until you start to actually peel back the layers and recognize that however painful something is, you were there for a specific reason to help bring down this Emperor energy, but it's also for your own internal growth. Saturn in Pisces, and maybe it's because, well, in most times, it's so that you can recognize that situation again. You can recognize your power. The Knight of Pentacles. You can recognize the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight. You can recognize how long you stayed in that situation and maybe where you could go back. Saturn in Pisces, and currently Saturn is in retrograde in Pisces, are looking back at perhaps the point in time you were starting to get those little intuitive divine feminine nudges telling you that it was, I want to say time to go, but it's not that. It's almost like a revising, and it's not a, and I'm thinking of, for example, the stock market. Actually, that's a bad example. I'm thinking of when you go to buy a house and you put it off for 12 months and then all of a sudden the house prices rise and you have this wish that you had have just bought it when you thought you should have bought it. Now, you can't go back and change the past, but you can get a lesson from it. And the lesson from that is that intuition that was kicking in, that follow your gut that was kicking in, was actually your divine feminine energy, because divine feminine energy is intuition. And that's collectively what we're going into. You know, when that stuff came out, and I'm not going to say names, but when that stuff came out about, you know, the girl in the hotel corridor, and she was being beat up and dragged back into the room by the hair. There would have been many, many, many people who intuitively knew that what she was saying was true, but it was all shut down. Shut your mouth. Do what you're told. And then the video footage came out, and exactly what she said had happened. a lesson for us as an observer to follow that gut feeling. Because these Emperor energies rely on you not following it. That's how they build their wealth. And it's all coming crashing down. Yeah, death and rebirth. That's Pluto energy as well. It's all coming crashing down. It's the end of this cycle for these types of individuals. It's all coming out, a truth, the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is the sun in Gemini. Things are being illuminated. Gemini, I always think of Gemini, it's obviously the twins, but I think in this context, it's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. The illusions that this person has portrayed outwardly don't match what's going on inside. It's a secret. The truth, and the King of Swords come back on the bottom. The truth is coming out. Okay, let's get... You may still be sitting in this energy, and please know that, you know, if you're watching this reading at the time that the reading goes up, Pluto is still in Capricorn until the end of November. And these people are going kicking and screaming. They don't want this tower to fall on them. They don't want the floodgates to open. So they will do anything to stop you rebelling. But you're standing in this Lilith energy. I will not be subservient to anybody. Falling in love with your authentic self. This is what your guides want to tell you. If that's what you're working on, keep doing that. Ascension, part of this ascension that you're going through. Love is the greatest healer. So loving yourself through this process. And heavy burdens. They know that it's been tough. But wish fulfillment is coming. Why? Because it's fated. Fated. This experience that you're going through is meant to happen through this Pluto in Capricorn transit, because when we fall into, at the end of November, Pluto in Aquarius, it's a time of revolution. What angel has been walking with you? Number 43, protection from your enemies. And look at that, a 4 and a 3 is a 7. Highly, highly spiritual. And number 56, Poel, fulfillment. Now, I'm just quickly, these angels actually align with tarot cards. Okay, this angel Poel is fame, fortune, and philosophy. The things that you learn, philosophy, the things that you learn. Maybe through this process, you can build wealth through, maybe you write a book. Maybe you do a documentary. Maybe you open a YouTube channel talking about this experience to help others out of it. But you would never have been able to do that if you hadn't experienced it. This is the 5 of Cups. Those born under this angel love military and glory and will be in rapport with the angel of war and become famous through the use of arms. That's what I said before. There's something here that you're meant to do, and not that, you know, you want to become famous, but there's something that you're going to be known for in regards to this angel may be called upon for the destruction of the enemy and the deliverance from bondage. A freedom. You're going to be able to fly free from this nest that somebody else has got you trapped in. Okay, let's get you a moon oracle. Yeah, look at that. The cage is opening. You're not going to be stuck anymore. Deliverance is what I just heard. New moon eclipse. Brace yourself for epic transformations. Now, all of the eclipses next year are either in Virgo or Pisces. Pisces is spirituality. Huge, huge spiritual truths coming through. Brace yourself for epic transformations. Did I say transformations? Did I say testimonies? Testimonies. Maybe you're in a legal battle and nobody believed you. Things are coming to light. What are you currently working on? This is my Nodes of Destiny deck. North Node in Capricorn. If your North Node rocks a Capricorn vibe, get ready to be hailed the MVP for your go-getter spirit, inquisitive mind, gut instincts, that's divine feminine energy, and caring ways. Your cosmic mission to conquer independence and rock that self-made crown. Trust your inner compass and unleash your superpowers. The world is your oyster. That is, these cards, these two here and this card here, is tying in with that making a name for yourself through the heartache that you've been through. Because when you give, you get, when you give, you get back. You get this wish fulfillment. So yes, this has been an experience for you. If you think of somebody like Motaz Aziza, he's a photographer from Gaza who documented the first maybe 6 months of the war and is now using those photos to travel the world and shine a spotlight on the plight of his people. He had to go through that experience. He had to witness it in order to give it light. And at the moment, there was another journalist, I think 180 Palestinian journalists have been killed in the last 12 months. That's that Emperor energy. Shut your mouth, stand and deliver. Wanting to shut down these floodgates opening. But the reality is, and for most of these people, organizations, religious groups, companies, they're actually the ones by their own actions. As I said, this dossier of war crimes being compiled via TikTok. Pluto and Aquarius, as I said, the end of November. Aquarius is Uranus. Uranus is the planet of the internet. This revolution happening, this dossier of war crimes that's being compiled, but it's being compiled internally. Because these people are standing in out of balance Emperor energy, thinking that they're getting away with stuff, but it will actually be their undoing. It's almost like you have to sit back and do nothing. The tower, they're bringing the tower down on themselves. Okay, I'm going to get a song. See if there's anything else we can pick up from this energy. Take my heart, Al Martino. Won't you please believe me, darling, if we part? With you goes my heart, so don't deceive me. Yeah, the deception is coming. Now, that's a love song, obviously, but when these happen, when these songs come out, it's little bits of the lyrics that I'm drawn to. Don't deceive me. We've been deceived, or you've been deceived, or the people around you have been deceived about this Emperor energy. But for you, it's putting you in this Lilith, divine feminine energy, where you are saying, you're not going to shut me up anymore. Okay, I'm going to get 3 cards. This is my love messages deck. I'm looking at messages from your higher self. I'm wrapping up another connection. Your higher self is saying it's time. We've already had the World card. This cycle is over. Yeah, karmic connection. And I was wrong. Why have we got I was wrong? I really don't know if you even care. I'm just going to get a card on that. I was... No, I'm going to get a little one. I was wrong. Okay. karmic connection is a connection where you're meant to learn from something. The hangman is the epiphany. A recognition, perhaps you were under the illusion that this person was good until you realized what was going on. Maybe the hangman is tipping yourself upside down to get a different perspective. Part of the spiritual awakening that you've gone through, getting that different perspective. But maybe if you're in angry energy, maybe if you're in why isn't anybody believing me energy, and as I said before, you can be stuck in that energy because that is part of Lilith energy, fiery, angry, I will not be subservient to you. But part of that is tapping into that Lilith energy and understanding where that anger comes from in terms of your own wound. And that wound is being triggered by this Emperor person. As I said, go back and have a look at that Lilith playlist. I will link it in the description. Because in tapping into that Lilith wound, you will recognize that there was something positive about the lesson that you are learning with this individual. And maybe that's what gives you your freedom. Hangman is Neptune, going down to the depths of that first wound. Okay, I'm going to get you some Scrabble tiles. Oh, that happened the other day. An X and a D. Now, literally all the letters have come out. What am I going to do here? This is about how they are placed together. Because obviously I've got 26 letters of the alphabet. Could be your first, middle, last initial, or that of the person that you're dealing with. Something else that relates to tapping into this divine feminine energy. But because I've got all the letters, what I'm actually going to do, because it's what I'm being told to do. So we've got a Q and a 10, an S and a 1, a T and a 1, a Y and a 4, an F and a 4, a U and a 1. That's you saying, I won't be suppressed anymore. A K and a 5. See where I'm going with that. As a C and a 1, an L and a 1, an I and a 1. I'm going to leave the ones upside down. A J and an 8, an R and a 1, and an E. Right, these are the ones that are upside down. I'm going to put them elsewhere. An O and a 1, a P, opportunity, a G and a 2, a P and a 3, a G and a 2. A W and a 4. I just heard W's for Wilhelmina. Wilhelmina. That's Sesame Street. A H and a 4. A B and a 3. An N and a 1. An M and a 3. An A and a 1. A V and a 4. And finally, a Z and a 10. So as I said, they're the ones that were upside down. They have specific significance. Finally, I'm going to get you 3 final cards to close out this reading. Anything else your guides want to tell you? That was the 3 of Wands. Your ships are about to come in. Yeah, look at that, the star. Healing, transformation, healing. This, whatever this is, was meant to happen in order for you to tap into your divine feminine energy, but in order to expose this Emperor energy in your life. The 3 of Pentacles, a connection, a divine contract that you had between you, this Emperor, and the man upstairs. The 3 of Pentacles. And the 4 of Wands, a divine contract that you had, and the World. That's the end of this cycle with this person. If you think of the 3 of Pentacles, you can't have, I was going to say, a 3-legged horse. 3 is out of balance. 2 is balance. Scales, 2 is balance. But when you've got a third party there, siphoning the energy, it's out of balance. It's coming back into balance. You're coming back into balance with the divine because this person is being removed. The floodgates are opening. Why? Because it's time. The Seven of Pentacles and the World. So that's what I've got for you. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading. As I said, it belongs to a playlist of readings, tapping into our divine feminine energy. If this reading resonated with you, give it a like. Hit the subscribe button, notification bell if you want to be notified of future readings. I will list the Lilith playlist also in there. I'll also list that song, Stand and Deliver. There may be a music video, I'm not sure. And if there is, there may be more messages in that music video for you. There also may be more messages in the lyrics for you. If that song comes up in and around the time that you are watching this reading, know that it is confirmation for you that there are messages in this reading that you are meant to hear. If you're called to any of my tarot and oracle decks, the links to those can be found in the description box. Thanks again, and I'll see you again in another reading.